If you think needs of the Navy means I have no agency, you're already losing. So assignments, they're not a lottery. They're an interview on paper. And too many sailors flunk that interview before they ever get seen.
This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. Real stories, zero fluff, battle tested wisdom, straight from the mess to the deck plates. If you're tired of silence, the politicking, and leadership cliches, you're in the right place. Welcome to CultureKeeper.
Welcome back to CultureKeeper, the podcast that bridges the gap between junior sailors and senior leaders. I'm Jessica Hardemon. So let me paint this picture for you. Two sailors apply for a billet last cycle, right? Both are talented. One, and I'm using me as an example, one had our command ranked as number one choice. All of the comment sections in their profile were filled out. If there were gaps, they were explained. They mapped out, school priorities, like you name it, it was all filled out. The other had pretty good evals, but left all of the comments blanked, and we were ranked last for them. Guess who you think we ranked number one and included supporting commentary? Same ability, right? But different clarity. There's a belief at times that detailers just pick their favorites, that they just like close their eyes, any, mo. I mean, it's just, you name it. I've heard some crazy stories as it relates to sailors being selected for orders, to the point where sailors are like, hey, my package, it doesn't matter, right? Because I don't have any saying anything. But the reality is you do. Your resume is just that. If you were in a civilian sector and depending on the type of job it is that you were trying to apply for, the first thing they would ask you would be, where's your resume? And in that resume, it's going to show them, it's my education background, it's my work history. These are all the things that I've done that shows why I am the best candidate for your position. This is no different. So when I'm reviewing records in the M&A cycle, right, for command comments and all of our racking and stacking, I'm looking at the whole record, looking at performance, evals, quals, NECs, PFAs, initiative, and your comments. And all these things, these tie directly to the sailor who is going to make our decision easy. This isn't about luck. It's about proof. And today, I'm giving you the unspoken rules that decide who gets orders and who may get left behind. So let's get into how I navigate this. First things first, you have your preference page. Like all of that, before you even get into looking at orders and things popping up, you have your preferences. You have your location preferences, your platform preferences, if there's any special program, if your school's, like all this information before you even click search, right? That allows for the system to take that information, build it into its algorithm, and spit out things that, based on that, you would be interested in, right? And when you start looking at your applicants that you're submitting for, be very mindful of how you rank them. I get it. Each cycle, you're supposed to select 7, different commands. And maybe you don't know, 2 or 3 of those 7 that you're selecting. But here's the thing. There's this awesome tool called Google that you can sit here and look up a lot of the commands. But more importantly, if it's something that's close, maybe you can pop by there, talk to some leadership, ask some questions so that you can gain better clarity, so that you have an understanding, because maybe the reason why it's low is because you don't know what it is. But is it possible for you to learn what it is? Yeah, it just requires a little bit of initiative. When you look at your school preferences, open it up and put something in there. Where are you going to get your preferences from? Maybe you look at your ladder, right? Your learning and development roadmap that takes the guesswork out. For every rate, your ladder is going to list every school that is available to your particular rate. And then you can take it a step further by saying, okay, does it require me to be 84? Does it require me to be 85? Whatever the case may be. So then when you are creating your profile, you can add these things, you can advocate for yourself. And what that shows me is that, hey, you are taking ownership of your career and not relying on someone to figure it all out for you. Okay. And then when we look at your resume and your comments, right? So your evals will show a bit of that sustained performance, whatever that is, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's indifferent, right? Like I said, we will see your performance mark average. We will see your trait average. So that's great. We'll see if you've been passing your PFAs and if they've been good, if they've been probationary, all those different things. We'll see if you have warfare devices, and we'll see if you have NECs. Now, in terms of, your collaterals, your initiatives, all that kind of stuff, that one is where I think your comments really come into play, because what qualifications that don't have an NEC did you get? What watch stations that maybe your RADM hasn't replicated to fleet temps yet, and so it doesn't show yet, or whatever the case may be. How are we supposed to know that, okay, this sailor isn't just doing only the bare minimum, or not even making that mark? How are we supposed to know that? We won't, right? So the comments are an opportunity for you to add additional info for your interview. And unfortunately, too many of you waste that opportunity. If you leave the comment box blank, you're telling me you don't care, period. So let's say for a quick little template, just 4 things that you want to consider, right? Example will be ranking VMU1, number 1, amphib or surf zone experience, thrive in a high tempo waterfront operations. Performance proof, led 14 sailors, closed 126 CSMP jobs in 90 days, qualified officer deck import. And then let's say there's any type of gaps or anything like that. So readiness and gaps. No NEC due to 101 billet, or let's say op tempo. Ladder shows prereqs complete, and you are ready to go to school when the opportunity presents itself. And then value plus ask. You bring well deck quals, DC SME, and requesting, let's say you wanted, this was an instructor bill as you were looking at, request 95 on 2, instructor en route. Like these things, it's 1 or 2 lines, right, for each of these different things: your fit, your performance proof, readiness and gaps, and a value plus ask. Those things right there, quick, simple template that as you're applying for jobs, you can sit here, copy and paste that in each of them. And I promise you, it will speak volumes for your record. Now, if you lack an NEC, like I said, some examples for that would be rate requires NEC X. I am 1 of 1 at current command, documented attempts to attend school, completed all ladder prerequisites. I can execute school en route or within 90 days of arrival. I mean, wow, okay. What is that showing me? As I'm looking through countless records, trying to see who's going to be that right fit, who is potentially displaying to me that they're all in, that they are going to take that initiative, that they're owning their career, all that kind of stuff. That speaks volumes. And then example for like school preferences, priority schools in order. If you have a request, worst thing somebody can do is tell you no. But if you never request, then you'll never get the no or the yes. And so an example would be priority schools in order. Number 1, 9502 instructor, pipeline mapped. Number 2, 1310, small craft ops. Number 3, 9505, crew serve weapons. Right? Clarity beats mystery every time. Now let's talk about the ways you're quietly torpedoing yourself. So blank comments boxes for me, because I can only speak for me. That reads to me as a low effort. Ranking us last, but then emailing us like, hey, you are my number 1 choice. Oh man, there's nowhere else I wanted to go. We see your list. You're lying. Don't lie. Be honest. Or more importantly, if you feel like you really don't have anything to say, then don't. Okay. Acronym soup with no outcomes, right? So we talk about that, with eval, cause and effect, all that kind of stuff. Your bullets, you want to make sure you have those results. If that's what you want. You want to talk cause and effect. That's always a plus. You had this thing and what you did with it was this, and this was the impact or whatever, if you have room. And then your electronic trainer jacket. Let's say you have all these different quals, but you never look in your record and it never reflects whether it's in fleet temps or in your OMPF, then it's as if it doesn't exist because I don't have a looking glass to look at the things that haven't been uploaded. So you owe it to yourself to log on to check. If not, granted, it's probably too much to ask every week for you to do, but at least once a month, set a reminder in your phone to check your electronic training jacket to make sure it's up to date so that that will replicate itself up to your records so that when we're looking at you and reviewing you and racking and stacking that the information that's provided there is as accurate as possible. And then, no school strategy. I mean, that's okay to an extent because at some point in time, right, you want to actually look at the roadmap for your career. Whether it is you looking to go officer, you looking to make chief, you need to have a strategy for how you're going to get there. Now, you could put open to any, that's okay, but it punches harder when you know specifically what it is you're trying to do, what it is you're trying to request. Okay. And then if you can, avoid just generic copy paste comments. I mean, do that too. So what is it doing it right look like? Step by step? Let's talk about that. So I've kind of hit on it in other aspects, the win plan for you. Before the cycle even opens, make sure your training jacket is up to date. 100%. Pull out your ladder and look through that to see. Because your ladder is an amazing document that takes all of the guesswork out. You don't have to wonder where you're supposed to go next, the type of NECs you're supposed to have, because your ladder lays everything out clear for you. Pull it out, go through it. Matter of fact, if you have it printed out, there is a section in there for you to actually be able to like pen and ink how you're tracking them with your quals and all that other stuff. Like use it to its full advantage. Okay. And then I would recommend to you to have like a Word document where you have like draft comments, like create your own M&A, I don't know, document so that when it comes time for you to go and apply for different jobs, you already have things situated because you've already done the homework. And then decide what your real top 5, top 6, top 7 really is. Decide that. Like be very intentional about how you're racking and stacking the commands that you want to go to. Okay. And if that cycle just has 7 different like amazing commands and it's almost impossible to sit here and be like, hey, this is my favorite because they're all my favorites. Look at that. That lets me know, hey, you're in contention with some really great candidates. So hopefully you all meet the mark. Tell me something. Okay. Now, when the billets, like I said, when they post, you're going to rank, tailor your comments to meet the command mission. So if I am applying for an amphibious heavy command, maybe my comment should be within that realm. I'm going to show you what I can bring to that warfare area. If it is aviation heavy, maybe I tailor my comments to that. If it is, I don't know, a log suit, a dev grew, a spec war, whatever it is, let me make sure I'm doing a due diligence so that I can show you and hopefully paint the picture for you as to why I would be a great fit for that particular community. Verify that your evals and your PFAs are uploaded because, I know like right now we're in the PFA cycle and so maybe it's not in there yet. And that's one thing, but multiple missings. I mean, the hope is that the system gets it all right. But if not, then that lets you know, hey, you probably need to reach out to some people because your record is missing some stuff. Owning your record, owning your career. And then there's the optional email reach out. It's not something that you have to do, but I will say it definitely stands out sending out an emails. And it's simple. Hey, M&A applicant, BM2 Jones, ranking BMU1 number 1. That's the subject. And then a few lines, who you are, why you fit, what you'll bring, maybe even throw in your school plan, and that's it. Now, what this does is it takes it a step further. It's showing that initiative. It's saying, hey, I want you. And this is why I want you. And this is why I will be a great fit for you. This is showing initiative. This is showing outside of the box thinking. And this is showing drive before you even step foot on the command. And here's what happens on your side, right? I start filtering my top. I open up your record. I'm scanning your resume and your comments, and I'm checking your electronic training jacket, and I'm racking and stacking, right? Because I've had, the conversations with my CEO and my XO and the departmental and divisional leadership to see like, all right, make sure that we're all aligned. And if we're all aligned, then I that gives me a better indicator to scrub to say, okay, we're all aligned. So as I'm bringing folks in, am I bringing folks in aligned perfectly? Maybe not. Maybe I'm bringing some folks in that are adjacent, but have the potential to fully integrate. I don't know. So here's what happens on our side. I start my filtering by looking at the people who have us ranked as top 3. I open up each record. I scan all of the resumes. I scan the comments. I check your ETJ. And all the while, for every applicant, I am taking notes. And I will give you a number. And I do that with those who have us ranked top 5 first. Then I go back, and the remainder of the applicants, I do the same. And you get a score, 1 to 5, and your words can either move you up or they move you out. I say all that to say, orders aren't fate. They're clarity, credibility, and consistency documented. Don't hope to be picked. Make it impossible to ignore. And if you need help, the assignment ready checklist in the show notes will walk you step by step. Grab it, fix your record, and make yourself undeniable. And let's close this out. My direct challenge to you: by Sunday, 1700, I want you to rewrite your M&A comments using the 4-block template. Show your mentor, your chief, your LPO, works in a soup, whoever. Show them your before and after. And if you can't prove that you've done the work, then don't tell me you got screwed by the needs of the Navy. Download the assignment ready checklist in the show notes and fix your M&A today. Okay? And if no one has told you today, let me be the first to say thank you for all that you've done, all that you do, and all that you will do. Until next time, keep the culture. Lead on.
Culture isn't just kept, it's shaped. Every sailor, every day. Keep the culture. Lead on.